Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the 815 Sports Podcast. We got Colton Olson here tonight, legendary Streeter High School football player, both sides of the ball, all area. We got Jay Karkar, coached me in the YMCA Basketball League for a few years. But as we move into tonight's picks, we got the Week 16 picks here. I know Colton will have a lot to say about the Packers. But we jump in here. Denver at Chargers. Colton, I'll let you kick it off.
So Denver at Chargers. I'm picking the Chargers. They're -3. Justin Herbert, he is a top 10 quarterback in the league. Denver, you got a rookie quarterback. I don't really think they can pull it off. I'm going with LA.
All right. There's going to be a lot of Denver fans there.
I don't care.
No, I'm just saying LA doesn't travel well. They
Well,
don't travel at all.
Travel, they're at home.
You know what I mean. They don't show up to their home games, Jake.
They don't
Go
show
ahead.
up to their home games. I'm going to take the Broncos. I just think they're playing better football right now. I think they're both coached by probably two of the best coaches in the league, right?
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh. Absolutely.
Harbaugh and Peyton.
Harbaugh got
Yeah.
worked last week.
He did, and that's why I just like the way Denver's playing right now. So I'm going to take the Broncos on the road.
It's a good rivalry matchup.
I also have the Broncos on the road. I really like what Sean Payton's done with Bo Nix this year, and the Chargers they got dog walked last week.
Yeah,
And I don't think this is going to be an easy game for them, so I got Denver on the road. And quick comment section here. Lucas says Colton looks nervous and he has the giggles, he says. Anyways, we hop into Houston.
Let's keep it professional.
Houston at Kansas City on the Saturday slate games. I got Kansas City. I know they're saying that Mahomes is banged up, but I think they're exaggerating the injury. He's a full participant at practice today. C.J. Stroud's been a deer in headlights this year. I've been saying it all season. I got the number 1 seed Kansas City Chiefs at home.
Go ahead, Jake.
I also got the Chiefs at home. Look, until you beat them, until they get beat in Arrowhead, I'm going to take Kansas City. But again, I just don't feel like they played well all year, and somehow they're 12-1.
Yeah, 13-1.
13-1. I just feel like it's a very flawed 13-1.
Yeah.
Every time you look at their score, it's close.
Yeah.
Or they're having to come back late. But if that's who they are, I'm going to ride with them until they lose. So I got the Chiefs at home because, like Cole said, I also don't think Houston's played that well lately. Lucas might not like that.
I agree. Kansas City, they do have a great defense. Stroud has been a scrub all year.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Stanley wants to know if Mahomes is hurt.
Well, yeah, he's hurt, but he was a full participant in practice today. He's had this ankle injury, I feel like, the last 3 years when he gets to the playoffs, and the media drives it up more than it needs to be.
Yeah,
They love Mahomes. Either way, they're going to win this weekend, I feel. Lucas, to your question,
Love or Knicks
for fantasy, I'd probably start Love.
I'd go with Knicks. I believe the Denver and LA is going to be a shootout.
Where's Green Bay at this week?
All the way at Monday night.
Yeah, they're the bottom.
I feel like Green Bay could have that game early
Yeah.
as to where they might not have to throw as much, and it becomes a running game. And
plus, you
yeah.
got. Oh, sorry. Let me
Go ahead.
I was just saying you got Josh Jacobs lead the charge.
Right.
I would definitely go with Knicks.
Yeah, start next. Don't listen to me.
watch it. We'll probably be wrong, but
Noah Harani says, dude's been trying to get on this podcast for months. Yeah, he has. No, he's been begging to get on here. Yeah, the tech is he? I think you're talking about the Texans O-line, Lucas. They've been pretty bad.
No, I got here first, buddy. Not
they
you.
were
Right?
good versus the Dolphins, Lucas. A lot of teams are.
Taking digs at the fans. Take it easy. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. I got the Ravens at home. Pittsburgh had some crucial turnovers last week against Philadelphia in that game. I think that Lamar is going to get it done at home, go to 9-5, or improve their record. I think they're going to win this week.
See, this is what I said all year about Pittsburgh. I thought when the stakes got really high and they had to win big games on the road, I didn't know if they could do it. They didn't win in Philly. And now you go to probably just as much as Baltimore and Philly, probably both very tough to play at. I just don't know if Pittsburgh's good enough or fundamentally sound enough football team to go on the road and win in Baltimore. I'm taking the Ravens.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with these guys. Said Baltimore is a very sound organization, and they have a great team right now. I got Baltimore, and I also expect them to cover the spread by a lot.
Yeah, I like that pick. And I want everybody to take note that Colton said he agrees with me.
Not that Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh ain't, we know what we've said about Mike Tomlin. He's one of the best coaches. I mean, every year you look, the Pittsburgh Steelers
yeah.
are over 500 and in the playoffs.
He's never been under
Yeah.
500.
Yeah.
He is a great
Great
coach,
coach.
but unfortunately, he doesn't have all the pieces right now.
No, I don't think so either.
Lucas says, I thought the Texans-Dolphins game was terrible. I
It
agree.
was awful.
Directed.
Tua was throwing hospital
Yeah.
balls.
Just to make sure.
Tua was throwing hospital balls, Lucas, the whole freaking game.
Tua, just $55 million quarterback.
He had a bad game.
I'm just giving you shit. Oh, that's what I was going to say about it. Well, we'll get to that game. New York at Atlanta. You got Michael Penix in the mix now. The guy can actually throw the football. You don't have Kirk Cousins out there anymore throwing wounded ducks, no speed on his ball, can't plan off his back foot, which me and Colton talked about.
Yep.
With Penix going in, I think that's going to be kind of rejuvenating for this team. I don't think that they're going to get over the hump, which is Tampa Bay in first place. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But I do think they're going to beat the Giants on Sunday, and I like Penix to have a pretty good game. Honestly, I think he'll throw for 3 touchdowns.
Do you think that they're putting him in because of the opponent? Do you think if this wasn't a 2-12 awful feeble team as like the Giants, like
No,
if this was Detroit,
I'm
I'm not sure they would.
No, I think they would because
You
I'm
think
telling
they
you, Kirk Cousins all year, if you watch him closely, he does not drive off his back foot. He has not recovered fully from that Achilles tendon injury. I expect he's probably going to be riding the pine for the rest of his career, collecting $40 million a year behind Michael Penix.
So they're not. So what
Not
you guys
bad.
are saying is
Yeah, that's what it is.
No.
Wish I could do it.
they're not swag surfing no more in Atlanta.
No.
No.
That was
That's
short-lived.
That
That
was
ship sailed.
short-lived.
Yeah, it was short-lived. He got his money and he's out.
No
I'm
more
also
swag
picking,
surfing.
I'm also picking Atlanta.
I'm taking the Falcons too. Look, they're 7-7. If they win, they go to 8-7.
8-7.
And if Tampa Bay loses, is Tampa not 8-7?
Tampa will be 8-7 if they
So
lose.
I mean, this is the big
Yeah,
game.
Fight for the division, and the Giants have been a dumpster fire for the past 10 years.
Since Eli Manning and John and with Tom.
Even
Coughlin.
without Eli Manning, they were.
Some
They
shit
got
years
lucky.
with
They,
Eli.
they got 2 good years out of them.
Let's see. Browns, Bengals. Yeah. I'm sorry, Jake, I messed that up there. But we got Browns, Bengals in this game.
Jump.
Yeah, I jumped.
Oh,
Yeah, God damn it, Cole.
Oh, we're way down here. Right?
Yeah. Browns, Bengals. I got the Bengals in this one at home. I don't think the Browns have enough. They just benched Jameis, which I don't know about that move. Jerry Jeudy was having a career year. They benched the guy who's been feeding him the ball. I feel bad for Nick Chubb. Broke his foot. He's been the face of Cleveland football for a few years now.
He's had a rough couple of years.
Yeah, and honestly, I think his career might be done. I mean, he might play again, but he'll never be that same guy we watched 2-3 years ago.
Oh, absolutely not. Those days are going. I also am going with Cincy. Joe Burrow is having an unbelievable year.
Right.
He has had a handful of turnovers. A handful of them, or a lot of them, have been strip sacks. And I know they got a bad O-line, but you got him, Jamar Chase, their running back, Chase Brown. I think they get the job done here on Sunday.
I think Cincinnati is, if somehow they sneak in, they're one of the scare. What is so funny?
Lucas says I can just tell he's been thinking about that beer all day.
Seltzer water, buddy.
Cincinnati's one of the scariest under 500 teams that I think could beat a good team.
I agree. Any given day, Joe Burrow will give you 500 yards.
I mean, they're putting up 35, 40 points in some of these games. If somehow they sneak in, which I don't think is going to happen,
Yeah.
they'd be a tough opponent. But I'm taking the Bengals over Cleveland,
I mean,
and
they
probably a rout.
When they played Baltimore, it was like 42-49, and Joe Burrow had 5 touchdowns or something ridiculous.
And I think
And then they
the
lost.
Steelers
Yeah,
game,
they
too,
lost.
was
Yeah, that's
phenomenal.
what I'm saying. It's just, he's having a great year. It just sucks.
The guy's a hell of a quarterback. I hope they don't waste his talent.
Best quarterback in the league.
I really can't argue that. Josh Allen's up there, but they're both studs.
Yeah.
Patriots, Bills. Speaking of Josh Allen, going to be the MVP this year. Drake May looks pretty good. We've said it a few weeks now. He looks pretty good. I just think the Bills are going to be too much. They're favored by 14 at home. I think they dog walk New England this weekend.
Go ahead, Jake.
I know that historically this is a rival game, and these games have always been close. But I just don't think this game's close. I like Buffalo in a rout. I mean, maybe Josh Allen doesn't play the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying. Drake May has shown a lot of signs of life. He's definitely going to be the future of New England. However, they have nothing to go along with him. Buffalo, however, is a stacked team, maybe the best team in the NFL right now. I'm definitely going with Buffalo to cover the spread.
The only thing about Buffalo, what concerns me is when their defense is awful.
Yeah,
I mean, they gave up 45 points in back-to-back games. I know they were versus good teams, but
yeah, that is true.
Yeah, but then the Niners held the Rams to 15.
yeah. So the Bills' defense is what could cause them problems in the playoffs. Not saying it will, I'm just saying it could.
God says Josh Allen's dropping 60 fantasy points this weekend.
He might
not be wrong. He might not be wrong.
But I don't
done it a
know
few
that he's going
times.
to have. I don't think they're going to play him the whole game. So I don't know. If
That's true too.
Time.
They might be winning at half right now.
Lions, Bears. Colton, I'll let you start.
I'm going with Chicago. Stop it, man. We're going with Chicago here. Everybody's head in Chicago is on the chopping block right now, and they know it. They needed something to turn around with. They played Detroit a few weeks ago. They lost by 3 points. And if
Should have won.
If that damn Eberflus had called the timeout, you kick the field goal, you go into overtime, who knows what happened. I'm going with Chicago at home.
Jake?
Covering the spread, I might add.
What is the spread?
Plus
6.5.
This game scares me for a lot of reasons. What's his name's out?
Detroit's got
Montgomery.
Detroit has tons of injuries.
Detroit's banged up. David Montgomery's out. Dan Campbell coaches like an asshole sometimes.
Yeah.
The Bears really need a win just for the fan base and the city and the state to
hold
come back
together.
to earth. But gosh, I just can't pick them.
Campbell's balls are too big for the wheelbarrow, man.
I'm going to take the Detroit Lions. I think this game's very, very close.
I could see it being very close here. Really quick, I want to hop into the comments. Gotch thinks Chicago could lose by 30. Stosh says he can't believe Colton roots for a quarterback who paints his nails. And Lucas says it's a ritual at this point for the guest to pick the Bears.
It's true.
Now back to the game.
Colton.
I've got the Lions in a rout. The Bears look like a defeated football team. I'm sorry, Colton. They look like a defeated football team. Williams has been sacked 20 times over his last 5 games. He has been sacked the most of any quarterback in the NFL this year by 13. CJ Stroud right there behind him. And Jake, you go ahead. I
think the Bears. I don't think their line's as bad as people say because
it's the 31st worst offensive line in the NFL.
I think Caleb Williams holds on to the ball. I think he holds on to the ball too much.
I agree. He does hold on to the ball a very long time.
That leads to a lot of the sacks. Get rid of the ball.
He has the worst QBR of any rookie quarterback all time.
He has regressed, but you got to look at what's happening around him.
I agree.
He's had 3 offensive coordinators in 4 weeks. 5 weeks?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
There's hope for the kid. He's got a lot of talent. He shows it day in, day out. He's definitely an extremely talented athlete. His ceiling is the sky. This week, Chicago turns around.
Again, I like the Lions this week. The Bears rank last in total yards, 26th in passing. And again, I think that's a lot of it's because of, like Jake said, he hangs on to the ball too long.
I agree with Harkar.
With what Colton is saying, I think that
Lucas agrees with me. Bo Albert is Trump quarterback of the Bears this week. If so, I'll take the Bears.
See what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I like the Lions in a rout. Titans, Colts. The Indianapolis Colts would probably be right there in the playoff race had Jonathan Taylor held the ball for 2 seconds longer. Tennessee just benched Will Levis while his ex-girlfriend was at the game. That's a tough scene. Mason Rudolph's going to be back there at quarterback. Granted, what I said about Jonathan Taylor, I do think he's a good running back, and I like the Colts at home.
I like the Colts at home too, and believe it or not, it might be a bad thing to say, but I had pretty high hopes for Will Levis. I thought he was going to be
So did I.
I thought he was going to be a very solid quarterback, but
Yep.
man, he has proved me wrong every game this season.
Me and Trubisky were super high on Will Levis.
I thought he was going to be a great quarterback.
I've
Yeah.
been super high on the New York Football Giants for 3 years on this podcast, and they've lost every time I picked them.
Everybody's got their team they love, or those guys they have a soft spot for.
I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts. I think this game could be over at halftime, and the Colts really need this game to stay in the wild card race.
Yeah.
So I like the Colts in a rout. And why are running backs still fumbling the fucking ball before the end zone?
Or why anybody for that matter. Yeah.
But why? What is the? You can't be that stupid.
That cost
agree.
them the game, in
But
my
they
opinion.
are.
That
That-
clearly
that-
cost them.
That
continues
has
to
happened
happen.
at the collegiate and professional level a lot
Yeah.
in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Deshaun Jackson's the one who started it like 10 years ago. But yeah, that needs to be. I
What
think
happened to holding on to the ball and handing it to the ref?
If I was the owner, I'd be fining players $10,000 every time you fumble the ball when you're crossing the goal line.
I mean,
Purposely.
Purposely, yes,
yeah.
purposely.
It's almost youth football shit. And even then,
Colton,
it's
youth football
not-
coach.
I coached Lucas Risky once.
Rams at Jets. I know what Jake says about the Jets. I know what the people are saying. Rodgers been a top 10 quarterback this year statistically. He's going to be
Stop
back.
it.
He's going to be back in New York next year. The Rams are a team that plays with their competition. They don't pull away. They're playing with their food each week. The Jets can't really find a way to win games. Aaron Rodgers' new Netflix show out. I heard it's good. I got the Jets at home.
Go ahead,
Here
Jake.
you go again.
I got a lot
The
to say. You
Jets.
go first.
The Jets are horrible. They barely beat a Jacksonville Jaguar team if it didn't take a heroic day from Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, who now I think have 100. Have they thrown 100? Has he thrown 100 touchdown passes to Devontae Adams?
Devontae Adams has 100 career touchdowns, not all.
But
from
most of them are from Rodgers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, probably 90%
So-
of them.
I don't know. I think the Jets are good enough to stay in this game because I think Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. But I'm going to take the Rams because I feel like this game means a lot more for the Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, and for you, if you stay the 6 seed, you play the 3 seed, right?
Yeah, I'd much rather play the
You'd
Rams
much-
though.
no,
than the
I think
Bucs.
you'd rather play Seattle. You'd
No.
rather play Seattle, right?
Well, if that's an option, but I'm saying with the playoff picture right now, I'd rather play the Rams because they're in than the Bucs because we play on the road.
They could both beat you.
Right.
I'm just
Anyway,
saying, I'm just throwing that out
Colton
there.
is the biggest Packers hater of all time, but my point was going to be if we play at LA, there's going to be more Packers fans there than Rams fans.
Not so fast.
And if Jake, that happens every
Not
time.
a
There was.
playoff game.
Did you not hear the Go Pack Go chants in Seattle?
Yeah, but that was
Did you
because Seattle had nothing
No,
to cheer
here we go.
for.
Excuses,
No.
excuses. Jake, every week you can go back and watch it
You
every
did
week on
not
this
o-
podcast.
You did not
Jake, that's
overtake.
the toughest stadium to play in the NFL.
Hey, listen, we have not gotten to the Green Bay game yet. You guys might not.
Anyways, what do you have to say about the Jets, Colton?
So
They will jet.
Aaron Rodgers is a cancer. Everywhere he goes, if he does not get his way, he pouts. He gets head coaches fired.
He's only went two
Ro-
places.
Please. Robert Salah was one of the greatest defensive minds in the NFL. Why is he getting fired? You know, he held it together all last season when Rodgers tore his Achilles and refused to get surgery because he went on a blackout retreat or something along that nature. I'm taking the Rams. Matt Stafford is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And he doesn't have a lot to show for it because he wasted so much of his career in Detroit when they were absolutely horrendous.
Besides Megatron, dog.
I mean, I understand that. And if you look at the numbers, the two single season, Calvin Johnson broke the record. Cooper Kupp almost broke the
I
record.
think he did break.
He
it.
did break the
Yeah,
record.
he did. Yeah, he had that one.
What's the common denominator? Matt Stafford. I'm taking the Rams.
He's a great
I would
quarterback.
not be surprised if the Rams made a good playoff run either.
Colton dropping some good points.
I think the Rams are
Insane.
one of the scariest teams. If you get that offense going, yeah, have fun stopping that 3.
They're healthy too.
That
I mean,
three-headed monster.
last year, I mean, Stafford was hurt, Kupp was hurt. It was nonstop injuries load from last year.
And I think what's his name? I think he's a good coach.
Sean McVay.
He's
I
a
think
good
I think he's a phenomenal coach. He walks in the room, he commands respect.
His assistant coaches are littered throughout the NFL. I mean, they're
It's
all
true.
over the place. Matt LaFleur being one of them.
Matt LaFleur.
Whatever. Mike McDonald, Jake. The dog. Don't even get me
I
started
have
on the
never
fucking feeble
ever
Dolphins.
said Mike McDonald's a good coach. I think he's terrible.
Eagles at Commanders. I got the Eagles. I honestly don't think this game's going to be close. I think the Commanders have regressed a little bit. Colton, you might want to scoop in more. You're not in the shot.
Sorry.
But anyways, I got the Eagles. I think they're going to be able to come in there and really dominate. Their defense is phenomenal in Philly.
Yeah.
The defense is the thing I think that puts them over the top, even though they have A.J. Brown, Barkley, Hurts, Devontae Smith. Goddard's out, but Calcaterra is not bad there. They got a pretty good offensive line. Washington, on the other hand, they would have demolished the Saints last week. Had a few balls now went off McLaurin's hands. But like I said, I got Philly
Oh,
on the
that's
road.
football.
I'm just saying.
I'm taking the Eagles as well. Part of me wants to take the upset and take the Commanders at home, but Eagles fans are going to flock to FedEx Field. And I just like the Eagles. They'll be doing that EAGLES chant a lot in that game.
I'm also going with the Eagles. I think Vegas is being very generous with their spread. Washington is plus 3.5. I think Philadelphia probably wins this game by 2 scores.
I agree.
Colton with some knowledge tonight.
I'm just trying.
Cardinals at Panthers. We know Bryce Young's been playing a lot better as of late. Kyler has all the talent in the world, but sometimes he just doesn't put it together. But I do have Arizona winning this game on the road. And he said that Trey McBride is going to score a touchdown this weekend. Take that as you will.
I'm going with Carolina. But let's be real here. If you're watching this game, you have nothing better going on in your life. These are two absolutely horrendous teams playing. You might as well not even pay attention to it. I'm going with Carolina, and honestly, Chuba Hubbard's probably going to have a touchdown, but that would be the excitement of the game.
Can
gotta
Arizona,
fantasy
can
yourself.
Arizona still win the division?
Yeah, technically they can, yes.
I'm going to take the Cardinals just because they still got a chance at the playoffs. Carolina hasn't been good since Newton, and I like Young. I think he's a really good quarterback. He's shown flashes, so I mean they've got that going for him.
Mhm.
But other than that, I don't know what else Carolina's got going for him.
We already did Cleveland and Cincy.
Yeah. Vikings at Seattle. Talked a little bit with Colton beforehand. I like Seattle at home here against a tough Minnesota team. Gino's going to play. He practiced fully today. He's going to play. I think Seattle's got a lot of good pieces. Now, Minnesota, I do think they've got a lot of good pieces too, but I do not think that Minnesota I think they're
12-2.
fraudulent. They're fraudulent.
I think Minnesota's problem is Sam Darnold. He's not a good quarterback. They have a pretty good team around him, and I think they have a great head coach.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Minnesota just because Seattle is Seattle and Geno Smith is Geno Smith. You never really know. He's kind of like Jameis Winston.
I think Minnesota is a very good football team. I like their coordinator, Brian Flores. He got fired from Miami with a bunch of bullshit that went on down there. They got weapons all over the field. They're 12. I mean, at some point you're 12-2. I mean, the
13,
Packers are 10-4.
13-2.
Where do we go? 13-2.
Vikings have a great
13-2.
record. They definitely are. There's proof in the pudding there. Okay, I mean, it's not like every one of their games has been against the Chicago Bears in Week 7. You know.
I'm gonna take Skull. They're gonna be doing the Skull chant in Seattle.
Stas says Gino never wrote back. You never seen that meme?
No, I haven't.
No. He said that everybody wrote him off. And he goes, why didn't I back?
Stash got a lot of jokes.
You seem very enthused. On to the Jags Vegas game. I have absolutely nothing to say about this game. As Colton said earlier, if you're watching this game, you have nothing better to do in your life.
This game is very comparable.
I got the Jags.
Yeah, this game is very comparable to the Arizona-Carolina game. Don't bother. I'm going with Vegas just because.
Yeah, I'm going with Vegas. I'm gonna take the home team.
They are -1.5.
What do they call it? They used to call it the black hole. When they
Yeah,
played
well,
in
now
Vegas.
it's a tourist destination.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Vegas. I don't know why, but
Trevor Lawrence is also out. Antonio Pierce, I thought he was a good coach. He's proved me wrong this season. He's still got Max Crosby on the defense. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I got Jacksonville strictly because I love Brian Thomas Jr. He's a stud. Leads almost all the categories for rookies and receiving. He's a great player. I think with a very good quarterback, I think he can be a phenomenal wide receiver in the NFL. And I like Jacksonville. 49ers, Dolphins. Jake, you started off.
yeah, there's a lot of shit that can be said about this horrible fucking dumpster fire, feeble organization of the Miami Dolphins that I have rooted for. They have not won a playoff game since 2000. I don't even know if I was born yet.
You were born yet.
That's
Jesus.
a joke, but I didn't even know.
I don't know if I was
I didn't
born
even
yet.
know what football. I didn't even know what football was at 2.5, 3 years old. I mean, there's a fucking gap from the Dolphins in 2000 to the Jets in 2010. Every team has won an NFL playoff game besides the Miami Dolphins. You know what I mean? Before 2010.
You know, you got to admit, though, that is pretty impressive on the Dolphins.
Oh, that's pretty fucking embarrassing and feeble. And you got to start at the top, and you got to fire Chris Greer. I don't know why he still has a job. He's been there since 2000. They have 0 playoff wins. I am so sick and tired of being 7-9, 8-9, 9-8, 10-7. Make the fucking playoffs or be horrible. I'm sick of this stuck in the mud. Mike McDaniel should be coaching
He's a nerd.
should be employed at your local McDonald's because he's laughing on the sidelines when we're losing 24-7 with Tyreek and Jalen. He throws bubble screens more than any fucking coach I've ever seen.
Every play's a
He
screen.
goes for it on every fourth down, and every time it bites him in the ass. I'm just so sick of the Dolphins, and this is one of the least interested seasons I've ever been involved with them in because I thought they were going to be good, and here they are dog shit. But with that being said, I'm going to take the Dolphins in this game. They're at home.
Colton, go ahead.
I'm going with San Fran. Jake couldn't have said any better. Miami has been a dumpster fire since Dan Marino. I mean, even with Dan Marino, they never won a Super Bowl.
Nope.
Got close rookie year.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. But like he said, Mike McDaniel, I mean, he's a scrub. That's what you get when you hire analytics guys to be professional coaches. Analytics have ruined sports from baseball, and it's working its way into football. Basketball. I mean,
73's a game.
Exactly. The
more
game.
threes you put up, the better chance you got to win.
The games are being ruined from these analytics and these nerds. Yeah, I'm going with San Fran.
Well said, Colton. I like San Fran here. I think their head coach is better than McDaniel. McDaniel is 3-15 against teams above 500. He is absolutely feeble. Jake just wrote a nice comment there. Jake, should he be fired, McDaniel?
He should get one more year just because he's made it.
Are you kidding me?
I'm telling you what.
You got to fire the guy.
No, I'm telling you what. They need to fire him. They need to force Tua to retire because he's going to be a retard at the end of his career.
Whoa, easy there, easy.
Sorry.
Easy.
I didn't mean to say that. I slipped out. He's going to be mentally incapacitated by the end of his career.
He probably will be.
I mean, look at him. I mean, he's had, was it 5 concussions in 2 years? Is that what it is?
That's pretty close. I think it's 4 or 5.
And these aren't ordinary concussions. These are these are concussions where he is seizing up. He's having a very hard time.
God damn it.
But the only reason I'm giving Mike McDaniel another shot is because the Dolphins don't make the playoffs a lot. In his first 2 years, they made the playoffs. So whatever he's did has been better than it was previous in my life growing up. He gets one more year, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to dog shit him because he's been terrible. And if he got fired, I would love it. But I think he's going to get one more year. You need to fire the general manager. He laughed.
Coming back to Lucas, Mike McVay or Sean McVay is not an analytics coach. You can sit there and say it all you want. For one, he doesn't look like a nerd.
Colton is just here bullying.
No, Lucas is causing problems in the comments.
Stas says we're going to get blacklisted. Look, we apologize for that. We're not condoning that, but
It slipped. I didn't know
we
you want to say it
apologize.
either.
Anyways, on to Sunday Night Football, Bucks, Dallas. I got Tampa Bay. Baker's rolling. If they had a better record, he'd be up there in the MVP conversation. People would be talking more about him.
Agree.
He's resurrected his career. Cleveland Browns fans, I mean, I see it on Twitter. They're just absolutely pissed at their front office. I mean, the things that they do there are just beyond me. But I think they're going to demolish Dallas. I think Baker is playing as well as anybody right now at quarterback.
Go ahead, Jake.
I like Tampa Bay as well. Tampa Bay's playing pretty good football. I mean, you could say they're playing how they've played recently, they're playing as good as anyone in the league. They're hot. I think they're going to win their division. I think they'd be a scary matchup. They're going to get a home game. Baker Mayfield is a very good NFL quarterback. I'm over the people who don't think he is. I mean, he's proven it again on a Tampa Bay team. Dallas sucks at home. They get every big game they lose in Jerry World this year. I just can't. I can't pick America's team this week. I'm going to take the Buccaneers.
America's team has been a joke for at the face of
we've been
America
born.
since ever. I mean, every year they're like the LA fans and the New York Yankees fans. This year's our year. Well, they're horrendous. They always will be, and it's because Jerry Jones has too much power, and he wants a yes man as a head coach. Very similar to the McCaskies and Chicago Bears. However, we're not talking about that right now. Tampa Bay all day. Don't ever count out Baker Mayfield.
Nope.
Mike Evans is on. Excuse me. Mike Evans needs, I don't know how.
84 yards per game.
84 yards per game to tie the consecutive season 1,000-yard record. He missed a few games this season. You bet your ass he's coming for it. Tampa Bay and the Baker Mayfield all day.
Death, taxes, and Mike Evans getting 1,000 yards in a season. It's guaranteed.
They're also going to cover the spread by a lot.
Lucas says, get Colton another beer. We should probably cut him off. Lucas says about Sean McVay, he's all about data and statistical analytics. It wins, can't deny it. Yeah, he's had some winning seasons.
Well, how about the
I'll talk to Luke.
analytics part that say Dan Campbell should go for it and they don't lose the game?
That he should. He always goes for it.
I know, but sometimes analytics tell you to kick the field goal or punt. And Campbell likes to go for it. That lost the playoff game, didn't it, last year?
Speaking of going for it, LaFleur has been
The flop.
the most conservative he's been as far as going for it on fourth downs this season. He's been taking the points, which I don't mind. I think you kind of got to make those decisions as a coach. The Packers are favored by 14.5 at home. I don't think they're going to win by 14.5 because every NFL game seems to be close. I do like them to win this game. I liked what we talked about before the game. I think they're going to feed Jacobs early and often, just like they did in Seattle. I think they're going to run it down New Orleans' throats, and I think we're going to walk out of here with a win, move to 11-4, and get ready for the next week. Also, the Packers are 7th in total points. They've scored 30 in each of their last 4 games. 2nd in average yards per play. I mean, they're very fun to watch unless you're Colton Olsen or Jay Karkar, I guess.
How about Chris Collinsworth and Mahomes, right?
Anyway, they got the Packers. Go ahead, Colton.
I know Green Bay is favored by 14.5 points. Green Bay has had a good season. However, I'm not picking them. I'm going with the Saints just because. This is a real note. Jordan Love is overrated. They brought in Malik Willis. I think it was for 2 games, and he looked just as good as Jordan Love, if not better. I'm going New Orleans.
That is strictly a hate pick. That is strictly a hate pick. He's like Adam Rink on NFL Network.
You got it. I Green Bay, but you're not winning the division, so it's going to be Green Bay's path to the Super Bowl is going to be brutal because they're going to have to go on the road for every game.
We've done it before. We've done it before.
What year?
When?
The past. What do you mean? What year?
What year?
2010, 2011 season. We did it.
We
were the last season in the
wild card.
playoffs, and we beat Atlanta. We beat the Bears,
He was in diapers.
and we beat
He was
Seattle.
talking
I was
about it.
10 years old.
It's the first time watching the game.
Whatever. Whatever.
But no, I look. Green Bay is a very good football team. They run the ball. They're sound. They're fundamental. They're well coached. Jordan Love is he's a good enough quarterback to win. So Green Bay is going to be a tough out. So I got Green Bay.
Yeah, I got the Packers as well. I think they're going to get it done.
And back to the 12th man in Seattle. You do know, say there were 10 or 15,000 fans, Packer fans there. Those fans can make a lot of noise when Seattle fans have nothing to cheer about, right? That was a
Well, you have
horrible
nothing to
game
cheer
by the
about. You have
Seahawks.
nothing to cheer about when you're playing against a far superior team like the Green Bay Packers on Sunday night. So
There you
that's
go.
what
Far
happens.
superior.
I'd like to play Detroit again.
Well,
I'm
you're
telling
right.
you,
Kick them
you
right
play-
in the teeth
you
while they're
play-
down.
You play Detroit right now, you probably beat them just because Detroit.
Here we go. Colton, you've told me 10 out of 10 times, 100 out of 100 times the Lions would beat the Packers.
Hey,
They're
On a
not going to
healthy-
beat
on a
you
healthy
100.
day.
No,
On
you
a
didn't
healthy
say that.
day.
You didn't say that.
What's
You
your
didn't say
record?
that.
What's their record versus the Lions this year?
0-2, Jake.
Okay,
When was the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game?
2000.
Oh, okay.
At least we both know the answers to those questions.
Little brother on the podcast.
Who's that? Who's your friend?
Parker says that guy looks like he served in the Navy.
Who's Parker Hinsdale?
I don't know who that is.
It's gotta be a
Anyways,
fake name.
I don't. Anyways, we'll hop back in next week with Week 17 picks. Colton, thanks for coming on. You guys got any last words?
No.
All right, thanks for showing up tonight.
All right.
Thanks for having me on as well. I appreciate it.
No
fellas.
problem.